there's a lot of people that want to get a vehicle under their business name with just their EIN. But one of the things that most people overlook is when you're trying to go for an EIN only vehicle for your business, then you have to have, most of the time, they want you to have commercial insurance. Okay. And some people, they take chances on just using their regular insurance because it's cheaper. However, you're taking big chances, and the reason is if you're driving a commercial vehicle and you have a contract, okay, and saying it's a commercial vehicle for your business, if you have an accident, your regular car insurance may not cover it. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you some data points and stuff like that because a lot of people think you have to have a lot of business credit. The reality of it, for most lenders, when you go to their commercial department, I don't care if it's Mercedes, Ford, or whatever, they want to ask you, okay, do you have at least 2 years in business, 2 years of taxes, okay? And they may ask for like 3 to 6 months of bank statements, all right? If you're trying to do EIN only for your vehicle, all right? And that's more important than having a paydex score or a DUNS file and stuff like that. All right. If you have a business that at least 2 years old and you can show proof of revenue and stuff and bank statements, they'll just give you a vehicle. Okay. And sometimes you can actually get that vehicle with no money down. Now, here's the thing about it, I tell people, is that you can go through Navy Federal. Okay. So you can get a vehicle for the business or you can get a commercial vehicle. All right. And so for the business, as you can see here, this is the invoicing and stuff for what all you need. So purchase invoice, purchase order. So you would go to the dealership and they will give you a purchase order. They will fill a form out. Then you give that to Navy Federal. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened to a client of mine, and I hope it never happens to you. A client got their vehicle loan, got a vehicle check. They sent it to the car dealership in another state. Well, the car dealership, yes, they cashed the check, but they never sent him the vehicle. And because they never sent him the vehicle, he was still on the hook for that check, even though he never received the vehicle. All right. Now, this can happen, and there's plenty of times that this has happened to people, unfortunately. So you have to be very careful when doing this. So you can get a business vehicle. Now, what some people do, what they'll do, they'll go get a certain type of vehicle because with Navy Federal, if it's an open bed truck or whatever, sometimes they are registered as a commercial vehicle. Just depends. Most of it is like a dual axle type of vehicle and stuff like that. So you can possibly get a loan and buy the vehicle and then refinance it as a commercial vehicle through Navy Federal. Okay, that's something that you can do, or you just may qualify for a commercial vehicle itself. All right, now with Navy Federal, of course, they use Experian FICO 9. So, in order to help you, because you can have an 800 credit score and high income, and you still get denied. And the reason that they will deny you, you may have too many recent inquiries, you may have too many brand new open accounts. Okay, so when they see this here, even if you have an 800 credit score, they may deny you. So you have to be careful in terms of going after these loans. Like I said, it ain't about business credit with Navy Federal. They don't care about your business credit. They care about in terms of the relationship. So having a good internal score with them also matters. Now, another place you can actually go is through Carvana. Okay, so with Carvana, they will offer like different vehicles and stuff. The one thing that they don't offer is like commercial. This is about as close as they're going to get to a commercial is a ProMaster cargo van. So I guess if you probably look out, if you go further out, you probably can do it. 212, and you can possibly see, can you find a commercial vehicle, but you'll have to shop around. But as you can see here, uh, more likely in California, you probably won't find too many commercial vans and stuff like that off Carvana. But yes, you can get a Carvana car under your business through Carvana. A lot of people are not even aware of that. Now, here's another place that people don't even realize. You can get qualified for an SBA loan. You can get qualified for an SBA loan. And these are the different type of SBA loans. And you can use the SBA loan to actually buy your vehicles as well. All right. And so a lot of people are not even aware of this. So if you're trying to do like EIN only and stuff like that, of course, with SBA, they do look at the credit, but that's not the only thing they look at. They actually do look at, the type of business, how long you been in that business. So you, if you're in a high risk industry, you would have to change up or add on an extra NAICS code. By the way, if you need help with structuring your business and finding the right NAICS code, click the link, schedule a consultation for that. But this is definitely an option that a lot of people they overlook. All right. Also Ally Financial. Okay. So with Ally Financial, again, they more likely to look at the credit score. But the good part about it, you can get multiple vehicles. You can get multiple vehicles through Ally Financial. So if you need a fleet of cars, now I would tell you guys, this is something that you have to be very careful about, because I know people are getting vehicles and stuff like that, and they're getting them under their personal, and they're putting a lot of miles on them because they may be doing delivery, they may be doing escorting, some type of escort, picking up people, dropping them off and stuff like that, like Uber and Lyft and stuff like that. What banks have been doing recently, they've been checking in with the insurance companies. And so when the insurance company said, hey, this vehicle has been driven more over X amount of time. So what that means is that if you got a vehicle and you've been putting it to use like a commercial vehicle, all right, then if it's over a certain mileage, the banks can actually call the loan. And they have been doing that. And the reason they do that is because if you depreciate the full vehicle, all right, then when you turn it in, there's no benefit to them. All right. So that's the reason why I tell people, if you're going to get a vehicle, I would not buy a vehicle. I would actually lease the vehicle. I would actually lease the vehicle because one, you can always give it back, without it hurting your credit. Now, another alternative to that is actually going through like the rental car companies. If you set up a business account with the rental car companies and then rent a car like that using like cards, like I have American Express Platinum. So my American Express Platinum, it acts as the first person on my car insurance. So every 30 days, they actually cover the insurance. So that makes my personal insurance much cheaper. And they will actually, if you sign up for actual, like through Hertz or Enterprise and stuff, they would actually create a commercial account for you. And then you can use your American Express business credit card or Chase Inc. business credit card or your Capital One Venture card and stuff like that as your primary insurance. And so that would help cover your commercial insurance as well. Okay. So you're not just stuck with one option, but that would be the best one, because not only are you building up your points, but you're getting the insurance as well. Now, I wanted to tell you all about like Ford. A lot of people think about Ford wanting to go get a van. All right. So most of the time, Ford will just look at the business. Okay. And this is why people, again, people aren't telling all of it. You thinking that, oh, I have to have like 10, 20 trade lines and stuff. That's not true. That's not true. If you pull your NAV account, because NAB reports to Dun and Bradstreet, Experian, and Equifax. Okay, and so you may have maximum maybe 3 or 4 accounts that's reporting to your Experian and Equifax, right? Again, because the business is at least um, 2 years or older, even if it doesn't have a high revenue, but you can also show taxes that you file taxes and stuff, even if you haven't had any revenue, you still can possibly qualify. Now, Ford usually is going to pull Equifax in order to get qualified. All right. So, like I said, a lot of people focus on this business credit thing or whatever when it comes to getting a commercial vehicle or vehicle for their car for their business, but a lot of times they're just looking at if you've been in business for 2 years. Because think about, there's a lot of people that have businesses never heard of business credit, and they still got commercial vehicles under their business name. It's because they've been in business X amount of time. And also, you can do an equipment lease as well and get your vehicle that way using an equipment lease to buy the vehicle and lease it back to the company also. So you have multiple ways you can actually do this. All right. I was telling you about commercial things like this company here. Okay. Accidentium Capital. So they actually do equipment leasing and stuff like that. So they would be able to help you get a commercial vehicle and stuff like that. So if you don't have the best credit, but again, you have revenue in your business and stuff like that, they have the flexibility. All right. I never used this company, but I'm just telling you that there are several companies out there that do equipment loans that you could take into consideration. Now, one last way that a lot of people have been able to go on and get their own commercial vehicles and car loans under their business, they will go through places like LightStream. So LightStream doesn't issue car loans. What they actually do when you put in for a car loan, they'll actually just make it a regular personal loan, and then you can use that loan to buy your vehicle. Okay. And so this is one way a lot of people have been getting around, and all you need is like maybe a 660, 680 credit score in order to qualify for that loan. I have made videos about Lightstream. I'll make an up to date video, but definitely it could be an opportunity if you're trying to get a commercial vehicle to help you get qualified for buying that commercial vehicle and being able to you buy the commercial vehicle outright and refinance that commercial vehicle with a credit union, then take that cash and then buy another vehicle. So you can actually flip that vehicle. All right. So I hope this video helps you. If you have any questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.